Hello everyone, I hope you're well. Today I am so excited because I'm going to share with you all my cozy, lovely autumn reads. Autumn is my favourite season. We are getting into autumn now in the UK and I'm just willing it on. I'm like, let the days pass. I need my witchy autumnal season. I love it. I love pine cones. I love conkers. I love how all the green trees turn into fire and amber and yellow and orange and they all look like beautiful flames. I love hot beverages. I love wrapping up. Everything about autumn is just absolutely perfect. So I've chosen some books that represent autumn to me. It's kind of autumn, winter, or I've got like a Halloween vibe to them. So I'm just going to get straight into it because I've got a lot to get through. First up, I have two Agatha Christie's. I have one that I read this year, which is Murder on the Orient Express by Agatha Christie. This is a Hercule Poirot. So Poirot is a detective and he goes on this train and the weather and the snow outside is so bad that it delays their journey, and then a murder happens on the Orient Express, which is this very gorgeous train, and he has to interrogate everyone on the train to find out who the murderer or murderess is. And then there's a tragic backstory at the same time that's about the man that's been murdered that we find out. It is so skillfully done. It's gorgeous. And also I just kept imagining myself like it's snowing outside, we've been delayed because of the snow, I'm putting on all my coats, I'm passing around hot chocolate, I'm in like a little, you know, like old-fashioned train cabins. It just gave me really cozy vibes, so that's why I picked that one. I then have Agatha Christie Halloween Party. This is a Poirot again, and a murder of a child happens at a Halloween party, and then Poirot's friend Miss Oliver just happens to be at this party where this young girl is murdered, and then she contacts Poirot and says, oh my god, it's absolutely awful, the party I was at, this child called Joyce has been murdered, can you come and solve the murder? So then Poirot goes and solves the murder. This isn't really about Halloween, so the murder happens at the Halloween party, but then that's all you hear about Halloween. It's just obviously going into November time. Loved it. Like, I think this is such a clever one as well, and all the different like character kind of insights into them I think is so intelligent and sharp within this one. I absolutely adored that. I then have a whole series. This is the Worst Witch series. This is a UK series about a little girl who's a witch. Her name's Mildred and she's not very good at being a witch. She's got really bad luck and she goes to an academy for witches. Let me just say, this came out before Harry Potter. So if you like Harry Potter for that kind of spooky, cozy vibe, then you'll love these. So it's really about her friendship with a girl, and then another girl joins their friendship group, and it's about three girls' lovely friendship, and then there's obviously little adventures of her getting spells wrong and turning people into the wrong kind of animals, and then there's this other girl who's not very nice to her, who's always trying to sabotage her throughout the whole series. I loved the academy, which I think is called Cackle's Academy or something like that, or Miss Cackle is the head teacher. I loved the whole witch school. I thought it was so like spooky and cozy and I just loved it, and all the girls have a little cat as well, and Mildred, all the other girls have black cats, but when it got to Mildred's turn they'd run out of black cats. She's got this like useless tabby cat who's so loving and so nice, and I love it. So that's the whole series there. I would say book one is still my favourite book in the whole entire series. I feel like book one was just absolutely perfect, but I do like the whole series as well. We then have a series of unfortunate events. Book one, The Bad Beginning. This is about three children are orphaned and they have to go and live with a family member who they don't really know this family member, and they have inherited a great fortune, and this family member is a villain and basically just wants to get their fortune. But this has a real kind of sinister Tim Burton vibe about it, which I loved. I read on with the rest of the series. I think I got up to about book 4 and I was like, I feel like they're all the same as the first book. Obviously it's the same premise, but I feel like it just didn't move enough for me to want to read any more in the series. But book 1 is perfect. If it just been like book 1, I'd be like, absolutely perfect, that's it, just read book 1, because book 1 is a really great book. But I like this because it has got that kind of sinister earring vibe. Another book that's got a really eerie vibe, and this is a horror book. I didn't want to put too many horrors in this because for me autumn's like cozy, but I just love this one. This is The Woman in Black by Susan Hill, and a man has to go to a house and sort out someone's died, and then he starts seeing a mysterious woman in black Who doesn't live there? No one lives there. It's a haunting, it's a ghost story. I loved it. I thought it was so I thought, oh my god, it was so well read. I just want to reread it now. I might reread this month actually, because I thought it was so eerie and it honestly sent chills down my spine. I was like, I don't like this. I loved it so much. I have so many books, so let's move them over there. Oh, okay, I have some like children's books. I have The Tale of Squirrel Nutkin. This is by Beatrix Potter, and I think all of Beatrix Potter's books can be quite autumnal because all the like animals live in trees and all the rabbits are living in like the shell of a tree and they're all cozy and their mum's like, come in for tea, and they've got that kind of nice vibe. But Squirrel Nutkin is something else. Like, it's honestly, it's like Beatrix Potter was like angry with someone that day, and it's just so sinister. So it's about this little squirrel. It's set in autumn, and this squirrel called Squirrel Nutkin has some behavioural issues, let's say. He's an issue squirrel. And all the squirrels decide to go to Owl Island, and Owl Island is where all the owls live. And Squirrel Nutkin, he picks on the wrong owl. He starts winding this owl up, winding up all the other owls, and they're like, we're not dealing with this, we're wise old owls. And then the owl, I feel like I'm getting hysterical because I love this book so much, but the owl that he picks on basically tries to murder him, like pins him down. It's like he's going to kill Squirrel Nutkin, and Squirrel Nutkin manages to get away before the owl kills him, and the owl grabs his tail and rips off half of his tail, and it's like Squirrel Nutkin forever only had half a tail and behaved himself after that. It's so sinister, and I just love it so much. It's so, and the illustrations, it's just gorgeous. Oh, I got hysterical because I love it. I then have two Edith Holden books. Edith Holden, she was a naturalist and she was also a children's book illustrator, and she just absolutely stunning illustrator. So I have this, The Country Diary of an Edwardian Lady. That's the cover for it. Just took the jacket off. And this is her personal diary that she didn't want to be published. She had no intention of it being published, but it was just about the changing seasons. So it's nothing to do with her personal life. So she'll have like March, and obviously she was an illustrator, so she did some absolutely stunning illustrations throughout this. And at the beginning of the month she'll always have poems to do with that month, so stuff to do with March, and then it'll be March 1st, I saw this bird, March 2nd, the bulbs are coming out, and talking about it. You can get this book for the whole year round. Like, I feel like I just talk about it at any opportunity because I love it so much, but I really love November with these autumnal leaves, stunning, the berries and everything. There's some October with the berries. I think she just draws autumn so perfectly and so beautifully, so I'd highly recommend that. She then illustrated a lot of children's books, and these are one of the books. So it's called The Hedgehog Feast. It's by Edith Holden and Rowena Scott, and it's about a load of animals that are getting food for this hedgehog feast. And look how like cozy they all are as well. So it's really about the hedgehogs who are collecting different foods for the feast and trying to get some apples and different stuff, and the squirrel, you know, what's the squirrel going to bring along to the feast. But at the same time there is black and white sketches of animals killing animals. So there's one of like a weasel holding down a bird, and the bird's got its eyes closed because it's dead, and the weasel's just killed a bird. So they're bringing like nuts and berries and doing kind of what you would call human food, but then at the same time in the book it's got like what animals actually eat. It's very harsh for children. I don't think I'd show it to children, but I love the drawings so much. And at the end when they have their little feast and they have Chinese lanterns around everywhere, and I just think it's so gorgeous. There's the end feast drawing. It's so beautiful. I love this so much. I then have just two more things to show you. So I have a Charles Dickens, because in autumn time I always like to pick up something like a Charles Dickens, like a big classic. So my favourite Charles Dickens is Great Expectations. Look at me, like, Great Expectations. Miss Havisham is just a queen. She just is. I just love her. It's about a little boy called Pip, who his kind of what you would say like normal working class, and then a good fortune comes over to him, and then he has to hang out with this woman called Miss Havisham. And Miss Havisham lives in a house where everything is decaying, and she was going to get married, and she was stood up at the altar, so she wears her wedding dress, and her wedding dress is just rags hanging off her, and she's in this house that she's kept the same since she was jilted, so everything's just falling apart and crumbling around her slowly, and her character was amazing. The whole book, absolutely fabulous. Love Great Expectations. And then last but not least, can you guess what book do I mention all the time on this channel that people are just sick and tired of me talking about? The book that got me into reading, Frankenstein. Any opportunity. Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. I don't talk about it very often, but guys, this is a book I like. I just love it, and this, so I'm sure everyone knows what Frankenstein's about, but why I chose it for this video, I wasn't just trying to shoehorn it into every video, I promise, is because there's a lot of rain in it and bad weather. So there's a bit that I love when Victor is in, Frankenstein is in his like kind of shed, because he's running away from the monster. So he's in some kind of shed, and he looks out, and it's raining and it's lightning and it's massive storm outside, and he looks out into the darkness and he sees two green eyes looking back at him, and he knows the monster is watching him. That honestly freaks me out. Every time I read it, it freaks me out, and I have to put the book down. I'm like, oh, I don't like it, I don't like it. And then I look over at my cupboards, and if my like wardrobe doors open a little bit, I'm like, I'm gonna see green eyes, I'm gonna see green eyes, I'm dead. I just love Frankenstein so much, and there is so much like storms and torrential rain that I think it works really well for autumn and winter. I'm going to end the video here. I feel like I've been talking way too long at you, but I love autumn. So these are my recommendations. I have loads of other videos. I think I have 3 separate videos on the channel that are just about Halloween recommendations. I would say any of the books that I mentioned in those videos, they're different from these books, but still you could read them around this autumn time. Tell me what your favourite book to get into autumn is that I haven't mentioned, so that I can go and read it. Let me know that. Tell me if you're going to read any of these books, and I will see you again very soon for another video.